Hello everyone, my name is George. I'll be doing today I'll be doing a more detailed run through of the labs we ought to have done. I tried doing earlier because due to network issues we couldn't go into much details. So today we'll be looking at Google Cloud Fundamentals, Computer Engine. Let me start let me bring up my terminal so that we can quickly start this. Let me zoom in. Okay, so this should be good enough. But first of all, let me change into my temp folder, and then in there I will create a directory I'll be working with. So let me call that directory project 1. Okay, I'm changing to projects 1. Okay, and clear the screen. So when we're in there, we're going to create two folders. Okay, one is screenshots, the other one is translations. Okay, we're going to change into screenshots and then we'll be working from there. Okay, first let's create our sample file. I'll call it MD. Okay, all right, so this is our file. We just have to enter the title, which is that, and then we go to the first task there, which is creation of two compute instances. Okay, so let me call this step 1. If you want to call it that, step 1, we'll create the two instances and then move on to step 2. Okay, so in the first one, please you take your time to read through the labs so that you have an overview. Now in task 1, we're supposed to log into the console. In this case, we are not doing that. Okay, but in our own case, our task 2 is actually our task 1, which is creating virtual machines. So here we are told to create a virtual machine, and these are the specifications for that machine. So let's begin. Compute instances, create. Okay, this one will be called my VM1, and it will be placed in US Central 1A zone, and the machine type will be the standard machine as stated which is N1, which is stated in the lab's instruction. Image, we're told the image has to be a Debian 1, and then we are told of course, if you look at the second command, okay, so if you look at the second command, let's come down here. You see that you see the image here, image project, and the image. I will show you how to get hold of those values. Okay, so we're supposed to allow HTTP traffic into that instance. So let's go back. Let me bring this in a bit. Okay, bring this one here. So we have tags will be HTTP. All right. So first, let's see how we get the names of the images that we'll be using here. Okay, so let me run this command. Instances describe. No, not instances, images lists, and I will be grepping, filtering using grep, and I want it to return only Debian outputs. So we're going to see the name of the image. Okay, so that's the image we want to be working with, stretch. So let's copy that, and this is the image project. So let's go back up here. Let's go to the image first, put that one, and then come back here and of course add that one. All right, now because we added we're told to allow HTTP traffic into this instance. Merely adding tags here doesn't make that complete. You need to create a firewall rule. You need to create a firewall rule that would that will make that possible. That firewall rule, I'll call it this, HTTP, and the targets tags would be, of course, HTTP, and the action it will perform is allow, and the direction would be ingress, and the rules would be TCP P on port 80. All right, so that's for the first VM. For the second VM, okay, we will simply copy the first one. Let's yank this line, come down, and then attach it. Okay, so here we need to change several things. We need to change this to 2, then change this to this zone, and then of course come down here and get rid of this because we were not told to tag the second VM. So that's for task 1, step 1 for us. What is step 2? Okay, so we've done that. Let's look at step, okay, call it task 2, connect VM. So I would just copy this to save me typing time. Come down here. All right, so let me bring this up here. So I'll put 2 hashtags and put that. So this is my task 2, okay, and not task 4. Okay, so we have to connect. So first step there is step 1, connect to the my VM2 via SSH. Okay, so how is that going to be done? Let's look at it and be sure. Okay, so that's the line. We want to write this one out, so let's do that now. Let's do, okay, so because we are going in from our system, you run that command. So once we've done that, we need to ping. Next step would be, okay, step 2, ping my VM1 from my VM2. Okay, so let me bring this down a bit. Let me make that smaller. So all we do is this. We put a count of 3 so that the ping times out or stops pinging at the 3 tries. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is SSH. Okay, so step 3, SSH into my VM1 and install Nginx server. Okay, let's just do this first. Okay, so we'll SSH into VM1. Okay, SSH into VM1 from 2, from my VM2. Okay, all right, so step 4, install Nginx server and add text to the default page. Okay, now we're in there. We say sudo apt get install Nginx Lite, I believe, and then Y to that Y option flag that tells the command, the apt-get command, not to request for confirmation before installing the Nginx server. Okay, so we are going to change several things, but let's look at what we're trying to do. we have written this command out. We want to change, add a line to this file. So here we are supposed to use the nano editor, but we won't be doing that. We'll be using the set command of Linux to be able to access that file, change what we want, and leave. Okay, so set. Okay, so let's begin by targeting okay, let's do that. Let's come here, this and h1, that, and of course this and this. Now note that this should not be removed, so we need to capture that and then capture anything in front of it, anything behind it, and then when we do that, we return what we captured. Put a new line in front of it, and then put the word hi from URGE, from George. Okay, now what file we will be working on? We come here and take this, copy that, go back here and drop that there. So that will do what? It will install this server and then change, add a line just below the h1 tag that is found in there. Okay, so next thing we do is we curl. So that will be our next step. Let's do that. Okay, step 5, curl, use curl to check the changes. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, boom. Okay, so that's what step. This we will do what? We'll exit, and then we'll do the same thing from VM2. Okay, so you can just say step 6, exit my VM, or close the SSH session. Close the SSH session in VM this, and use curl to test the server. So it depends on you how you want to do it, how you want to word your commands. It's up to you. So that achieves that. We will exit and then we run curl. Okay, so the last task there will be for us to get the external IP address of server 1 and then put that in a browser and then see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we can do in that regard. So first of all, let me write this file, and then let me do let me call it task. Okay, sorry, task 4, I believe. Okay, task 4 is use the curl command to test the VM server's external IP address. Okay, we will do that. So first of all, what do we do? Let me write that file. So I'll save the changes I've made. So let's clear the screen. Okay, let me show you. We want to get the external IP address. I have created I've created a server called Jojo, and I use that to test my commands and be sure they work the way I want. So let's see what this will give us. I got something wrong. Let's go back. What did he say? Format. Okay, I'm spelling this wrong. Okay, format. That's it. All right, so if we go up, come down here, we have this network interfaces access configs, and this is what we're interested in. So I'm going to show you two methods of actually getting access to that file. Let me just give you the first method, the quickest method and most easy method. Let's do gcloud. We don't need to do that, just use the arrow. Okay, in this case, instead of returning JSON, we will return value. Okay, we'll get the value from our JSON output. So let's look again at this. Let's look here. You see here we have network interfaces. That's an array and it stops here. So the first place we'll be hitting is this element. Okay, so let's say network interfaces. Okay, hit that, and the next thing we saw there was access configs. Okay, now let's go back and look at that. If you look at access config, is an array with one object in it, and this object has of course various elements in them. So we want this one, so we're going to hit the first object and then hit this one. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go here. We've done that, and then we'll say NAT IP. We'll close this and then close this. Let's see what it returns, and there you go. So what we simply do is copy this command, come back here and continue. Let's run the curl command, http. Okay, and then we put that command in a Linux subprocess as we say it. Close that. So, but you remember we are running this against Jojo, so you actually need to change this and say my VM1. Now, what does this command do? Let me put some space down here so we'll see what we're doing. What this subprocess does is run this command and then produce an IP address for that VM we are interested in, and then append it to this other part of our command, and then curl will take the whole of this and then test our server and should get something useful back. Okay, so that's how we can go about translating the lab. I hope this was extremely useful to all of us watching. Please leave your likes, and thank you for watching. Have a nice Sunday. Bye bye.